In this video series, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about Google Classroom. The videos are going to be a little bit different from what you might have seen on YouTube though, because I'm going to show you your Google Classroom from the perspective of a teacher, a student, and a guardian. This will give you a better understanding of how things work, so you can use all the features of Google Classroom with confidence. Another thing that's different from other videos is that when you're done watching this playlist, you will be able to earn a professional development certificate, because in some of the videos I will tell you a secret word, and in the last video I will tell you how to put the secret words together and where to enter them so that you can get your certificate. Now let's get on with Google Classroom. We're going to start by setting up your very first class. There are two ways where you can access Google Classroom. The first one is you simply open a new tab and type in the URL classroom.google.com, which will bring you straight to Google Classroom. The second way is if you have a Google app open already, like in this case I have Gmail open, I can go to the Google apps in the top right-hand corner next to my profile picture, click on that icon, and then select Google Classroom. In some cases, depending on your account, you might have to scroll down a little bit further. So when I click on the Google Classroom icon, it will open a new tab, and again, it will bring me to Google Classroom. I'll just close the first one to make it clearer. So now Google Classroom is asking me which account I want to use. So I'm the demo teacher number 2. I'm going to continue with this. And the very first time that I'm logging into Google Classroom, it asks me if I'm a student or if I'm a teacher. So since I'm a teacher, I click on the teacher picture, picking my role. It will take a few seconds to set things up. And this is now my empty Google Classroom. I have no classes so far because I just started. So in order to create my first class, I click on that plus icon in the top right-hand corner, create class, and I give it a name. Now I'm an English teacher, so naturally it's going to be an English class. I could add a section, subject again, why not, and the room number if I have one. For now, I just leave this blank. The only thing that's really required is your class name. Then I create my classroom, which again will take a couple of seconds, and then it will open my classroom, hopefully very soon. There you go. This is now my English class. If I want to see all my classes again, I can click on that hamburger menu, go to classes, and you can see that now my Google Classroom page has one class there already. You can create another class if you like, or if somebody has given you a class code to join their class as a student, whatever, you can click on the plus, create and join classes. For now, however, we stick to our English classroom and we want to set this thing up. You'll notice that on top you have 4 tabs. You have the Stream tab, you have the Classwork tab, People tab, and Grades. The Stream is where you would communicate with your students. When you have some kind of class announcement, you would put it there. If your students have a question, they can post it there. So this is like a Facebook wall for Google Classroom. The Classwork page is where you would assign work. I will do a video on that later. The People tab is where you add students and guardians. And then you have the Grades tab, where the students' grades would show up once you have set up assignments. So for now, since we don't have any students, we want to invite the kids. And there are many ways you can do it. One is you can copy and paste the class code and, I don't know, give it to them, send an email, display it on the board, whatever you want to do. I think the easiest way, what I always do, is I go back to the stream, because in my header, under the class name, there's a class code, and when you click on that display icon, it will display the class code in very large letters, even bigger if you click on this one. And this is what you can display on the board if you have a projector in your room or on the monitor. So you would give this class code to your students. Another way you can invite a student is you click on People, and in the Students tab, you click on Invite Students. And if you know their email addresses, you can invite them directly, so they don't have to go to Google Classroom and type in the class code. In our case, we're going to send an invitation to demo student number 1. So demo student 1 district.com. There you go. That's my search results. And I will invite this student. If you type in more email addresses, you can invite more than one student at a time. So right now you can see that demo student 1 has been invited. We're still waiting for confirmation there. It's still grayed out. Now let's see what the student now sees. I switch to my demo student account, and in my inbox there's a class invitation for English. So let's see what it says. Hi, demo teacher number 2 invited you to the class English. Okay, what do I have to do? I click on join. Let's see what happens. This is also the very first time that this student is accessing Google Classroom. So let's just take a look. Again, it will ask the student which account they want to use. In this case, this one is fine. Continue. And the student would pick the role student. And you can see that my student, by clicking on the join button, has automatically joined my Google Classroom. And my student is now in here. If, for example, I want to invite more students and they don't have an email address, then I would go back to my teacher account. Remember, go to Stream, Class Code, and I would display the class code. So if I copy this one and I'm a student, let's say I'm demo student number 2, even though I joined already, I just show you the workflow. I'll go back to classes. This student has joined only my English class. I click on the plus as a student and I enter the class code, click on join. It will add me to the class. Now in this case, since I'm already in the class, it was not necessary, but you can choose if you want to send emails to your students or if you want to give them the class code directly. In my experience, for younger students, it's probably better if you invite them by email because they only have to click on the join button, and older students, they can join with the class code. But it really depends on how well your students are able to use electronic devices. So that's how you set up your very first class and invite people or invite the students. We can invite more people though. When I go back to my People tab, as a teacher, you now see that demo student 1 is not grayed out anymore. The invited in brackets is gone. So this is now an enrolled student in my class. I can here email students. I can add more students. I can sort my students. Or if I click on the box and click on actions, I can even remove or mute the students. Mute means they cannot post anything in my stream. Right now, I'm the only teacher in my Google Classroom. If I want to invite other teachers, let's say teaching assistants or co-teachers, or if I want to set up a Google Classroom for cross-curricular work, I would click on the Invite Teachers button. And in this case, I'm going to invite demo teacher number 1. Let's see, demo teacher 1. There you go, search results. Invite the teacher. It'll take a couple of seconds. And again, same as with the students, it's grayed out. Invited is there, so we're still waiting for confirmation. Let's see what this teacher is now looking at in their inbox. So this is demo teacher number 1's Gmail account. And he just received the email invitation to co-teach English. Demo teacher 2 invited you to co-teach English. Okay, if I accept, click on join. and it will now open the Google Classroom for my English class. There you go. I see exactly the same thing as teacher number 1, the original teacher. I can display the class code. I see the people. I see the grades. I can post assignments. So both teachers or whoever is invited as a co-teacher, they have the same privileges. They can do the same things in Google Classroom. You can see when I go back to my previous teacher account, now I have 2 teachers in my teacher tab, and I have 1 student who accepted my invitation. There are some things that you want to that you want to set up in the beginning, and you can access the settings by clicking on the gear wheel icon that's in the top right-hand corner. Again, you can change the class name. You could add a class description. You can decide if students can post and comment in your stream, or if they can only comment, or if only teachers can post or comment. That's really up to you. Then you can decide how classwork is supposed to appear in the stream, if it's supposed to be condensed notifications or everything, or if there are no notifications, just to avoid some clutter. You can decide if you want to show deleted items, because right now only teachers can see them. If you enable that, then teachers would see the deleted ones. And you can generate a Meet link. So maybe let's just click on it and see what happens. If I generate a Meet link, and by default it's visible to students, I save my settings and I go back to my Google Classroom. In the Stream tab, I now have a Google Meet link in the header. What that does is display very prominently the link to your students. If I go back to my student account right here, and if I reload the page, you will see that the Meet link is right here. So that makes it really easy for teachers and students to join the Google Meet. There's no need to send separate emails because the Meet link is going to be right there in the header. It's very prominent. So what you can do at the beginning of a lesson, you can make the link visible. And once the lesson is over and you don't need the Google Meet link there anymore, you can go back to the settings. You can disable the visibility, save it. And if I go back to my student account and I reload the page, then the Google Meet link is gone. So as a student, if I see the Google Meet link in my header, I know, okay, my teacher wants to set up a Google Meet. They want me to go there. As a teacher, you will still see the link, and you will see the icon indicating that it's now not visible to students. Let's go back to the settings because there are a couple more that you can set up here. For example, the grading. You can decide on your overall grade calculation if it's no overall grade, or if it's based on the total points, or if it's weighted by category. You can decide if the overall grade is visible to students, and you can add some grade categories. But we will come to that later. The default theme is a simple one like this one. You can change the appearance by clicking on Select Theme, and you can choose from a range of options. For example, this one right here, that looks very nice because it's online. Or you could upload your own picture. Sometimes what I do, if I have a very nice group picture of my class, I would just upload that. It just adds a touch. It just adds a personal touch, and it's a great way to connect with the class. Then we're almost done with setting up Google Classroom. You might want to check some other settings which you can access in the hamburger menu in the top left-hand corner, because when you click on settings, there are notification settings, which are very important, especially when for example, when you're an admin and or a head of department, and a lot of teachers invite you to their classes as a co-teacher, just so that you can see what's going on. By default, you will receive all kinds of notifications from all the classrooms. So you can decide how many notifications and which notifications you actually want to receive. So on top, you can decide if you want to receive email notifications at all. And you can just have a look through all these settings right here. And if you are invited to more than one class, or if you manage more than one class, you can click on class notifications at the bottom and enable or disable notifications for each class separately. So that's really up to you. In my case, I'm also invited to a couple of other classes that I don't personally teach, but I just supervise, and I don't really need to get all these notifications in my inbox. So I just enable notifications for the classes that I personally teach and disable them for the others. Then we go back to our English class right here. It looks very nice. What we can also see on the left here is upcoming work that would be visible for teachers and students. And as teachers, we have a to-do list. So once we set assignments, then they will be listed here. So I always have everything there at a glance. The same thing is true for students. So if I switch to my student account right now, they also see upcoming work. Right now, there's no work due, but that's going to change very quickly. And when they go to the hamburger menu, they also have a to-do button, so they can quickly see, not just for the English class, but for all classes if they want to, what's going on and what kind of work is due. And they also have the settings for the notifications, so they can decide, just like a teacher, which and how many notifications they want to receive. So let's go back to the class, or maybe before we go back to the class, I want to show you the calendar, because if there are any assignments or anything that's related to a calendar entry, it will be shown in Google Calendar. So whatever you do in Google Classroom, particularly setting assignments, those would be showing up in the teacher's calendar and in the student's calendar. Let's go back to the teacher account. So I think that covers the basics. Setting up your very first Google account, Classroom, setting up the people. You can click on the name, but since there are no assignments, they would show up over here. Maybe I show you in a later video. Let's go back to the Classroom right here. But for now, the basics are stream, people, invite teachers, invite students, and check the notifications. By the way, I told you in the beginning that you will be able to receive a professional development certificate, and that I will be telling you passphrases or words for that passphrase. And the very first word for the passphrase is never. Okay, the word is never. You might want to write that down, maybe not in the comments below, because I want other people to listen to to watch the videos as well. But maybe take a piece of paper, write down the first word of the passphrase, never. So that's the first video in Google Classroom, how to invite people, how to get started. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I see you in the next video.